Hello guys. Once again, welcome to Sementia Farms. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most important topic in breeding of livestock. And we're talking about natural synchronization. Forget about that big word. What that simply means is how do you get your goats, your cows, your sheep to be able to naturally produce together for you, so that you don't have some giving birth tomorrow, the next week, the next 3 weeks, the next 2 months, so that every day you have to deal with the same thing over and over, but rather having all of them give birth at the same time, and you apply all what you know in the same month to them. And that's what we're talking about today. So if you're interested, let's share some real life experience and what is happening on the ground here with you. A male goat at my farm serves about 34 females. Some people say 50, some say 45. At my farm, one male is basically to 34 females. So in a month, if I want to breed, I will put one male with 34 goats, and he will breed all of them successfully in a month for me, right? So with these numbers in mind, what do you want to do? So if you want to get the best out of these goals, that means that these numbers or these fundamental facts that I've laid down is very important for you to know, because based on that, right, you will be able to breed your goats better and get the best out of them in the year, which is the 12 months that you have. Again, once a goat gives birth, if the birth is natural without any complications, then in about a month after, you are able to breed that goat again. And that is if there is no health issue, if you're feeding them the right minerals, then they are able to come on heat again. Other people, most breeders, very professional, high-end breeders, will breed their goats once a year, and that is fine, right? And that is fine if that is what you want to do. But to get the best out of it as a commercial farmer, you probably want to do 2 times a year. So now that we have these fundamentals, how do we actually do it? I'm going to be very realistic with you. Most of you are going to be buying your goats from different places and bringing them together. Livestock, mostly when you buy them, 90–80% of the time, they are actually already crossed. The owner doesn't even know because the stomach is not big. So once you bring them in, they are crossed. So in order for you to start doing this, you need to make sure that all your goats that are crossed, you take the time for them to basically give birth. And most of the time, most farmers are in a rush, so they feel like, oh, this goat gave birth today, I can cross it next month. Why should I wait for everybody to give birth, right? And that has been the problem. Currently, I have about maybe 40 goats that haven't been crossed. And I'm waiting, patiently waiting for all the others to give birth so that we can do one natural synchronization together. And this, you might say, yeah, might cost you money. Yes, it's costing you money in time, but over time, if I'm able to get all the goats to be crossed at the same time, it gives me a lot of advantage, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, right? So if you're a livestock farmer, you went to the market, you've bought some goats, you've bought some cows, what you want to do is to give yourself at least 4 to 5 months. 4 months, every goat that you bought should be giving birth if they were crossed. By the end of the 5th month, if they haven't given birth, then you know that purely these goats haven't been crossed. Focus on health, focus on good nutrition, focus on their weight gain, make sure they're gaining the right weight, right? And if you give yourself this 5 months to focus, proper management, and get everything right, you will know goats that were pregnant, they had given birth. You will know goats that weren't pregnant, they haven't given birth. Now in that 5th month, you can start your natural synchronization and breed them all together. You might say, why is it Walter? Why should I wait 5 months to breed this goat whilst I can start making money? Number one, the most important thing to me is the time at which these goats give birth. Trust me, if your goats give birth at the wrong time, especially in the rainy seasons, you're going to lose maybe half of your goats. Mortality rate is going to be huge. Why do I say this? Because in the rainy season comes with a lot of infections and like diseases. There are worms everywhere. So imagine having such a little baby born in the rainy season, right? It's cold, he starts picking things, all of a sudden he gets worms. His immune system is so weak because he hasn't even drank enough milk to be able to actually, build an immune system. So what happens to that goat? It dies, and you are going to have a lot of mortality rate. So because you didn't wait to plan better, now you're losing half of your goats. And if you don't take care, then you're going to have abortions, then you're going to have complications and so on, right? The second point to waiting is medication. So if you're able to breed your goats at one time, then you also know that all these goats are going to give birth at this age. All these goats were crossed at this time, so I don't have to give them any injection the first month or the first month and a half that they were crossed. But if they are randomly crossing and you don't know. So in our farm, we do deworming, weighing, disinfecting every 2 weeks. So if you continue to do that and a goat is crossed and you don't know, you're probably going to give the goat some sort of injection or something that might affect that goat, right? And what that happens is then you end up creating problem for yourself. But when they are all breed in the same month, we know that the month of September is a no injection month at the farm. The month of September is no stress month because our goats are going through the process of pregnancy, right? And this is very important for you to learn as a farmer. Number 3 is feeding program. So once you know the date your goats are crossed and when they are going to give birth, because they are together, it helps you to plan their meal even much better. What does that mean? That means that you increase their nutrition value to prepare them. Imagine if you have one goat that's giving birth this month and another goat that's giving birth the next 2 months. How do you then start planning their food individually? It doesn't work. It's going to stress you unless you're not doing commercial farming. But if you're doing commercial farming, you want to be able to plan one meal. Even processing that meal, you don't want to do it small. You want to have a good amount of feed that you prepare. Just like what we do here, preparing our pallet. When we are doing it, we do for lactating moms, we do for pregnant does, and then we do for kids. So at every stage, depends on the kind of nutrients that you have to give to them to make sure that their body is prepared for what is about to come. They even have milk and so on and so forth. The last point I will give you is even the kids, right? When they're able to be born together, again, their feeding, their medication, their planning, everything goes well. And then those kids are going to continue the same cycle because they are all of the same age, maybe a week or two, few days different, but they are all of the same age, and you are able to get them to a breeding stage at the same time, and you breed all of them together. So if you take your time in the beginning and you do it well, what happens is that you continue doing it well. But if you're doing it randomly, then one day you will have to come back and do it right. And by so doing, you're able to get the best out of your goat. Right, so now that I've given you guys all the theory, let's go around and let me show you where we are. So this pen that we are actually our pregnant does, right? So all the goats here have been crossed, and that is why we are able to put all of them together. So we have maybe about 20 something goats here that are all pregnant, that are going to give birth, right? Come along with me. So this pen, every goat here has been crossed. Again, as I said, being able to do things at a scale and then more organized. And in this pen are basically our lactating moms and kids. So all these guys here have given birth. Some gave birth as, last week, last 2 weeks. Those that gave birth like 2-3 days ago are still up there. We mostly separate them, give them some quiet time before, after 2 weeks, we bring them here to join the rest of the lactating month, right? So these guys are also going to be bred together. So in next month is actually going to be our breeding season. So next month, we're going to combine all these guys that have given birth and then start breeding them again. Then these guys are gonna give birth again. Then we'll combine all of them and breed them again. Here we have 2 breeding seasons in a year, right, for each group. So you can call this your group A and then your group B. And we breed them like basically in groups, right? Depending on the size of your farm, you can have multiple groups, or depending on the size, you might have just one group. But the most important thing is you give yourself that 5 months at the beginning, right, to make sure that all pregnant goats give birth, and then you start your breeding program, which should be very helpful. So as you can see, most of them are inside. These goats have all given birth, and next month we're going to start breeding them once again. I hope this information is helpful. If you have any question about breeding, about anything, feel free to comment below or send us a message. Get in contact with me, schedule a one-on-one call with me, and I'm happy to walk you guys through and share the experience and our knowledge here at the farm with you guys as well. Stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Something deep inside won't let